Welcome back, everybody. I am Modern Randy, and today we are talking about a Gruul aggro list here in Pioneer, since we do have the RC and DC coming up here soon. As always, guys, if you like what I'm doing, you like what you're seeing, go ahead and leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think is going to take down the RC and DC. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. So, today we are talking about a Gruul aggro list. If you guys have been paying attention to Pioneer in any way, shape, or form, you'll know that the black-red aggro list has kind of been the default aggro list moving forward. If you look at any of the challenges or leagues even, you see that it is riddled with that deck. The deck has kind of come up out of nowhere and has just taken over by storm. It's not, breaking the format or destroying the format in any way, but just a lot of people are playing it, a lot of people are doing well with it type of thing. So I thought I'd go over kind of like the other aggro deck that has been starting to pop up some and do moderately well. It hasn't been, crushing multiple challenges or anything like that, but it is putting up some numbers and is showcasing that it does still exist. And so we'll start off here with Heartfire Hero. If you've lived under a rock or haven't been paying attention to any aggro decks, this might be a surprise to you, but this is probably one of the most played 1-drops at this point, next to the Commando and Monastery Swiftspear. It is a 1-mana, 1/1. And it has whenever it becomes a target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and then when it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. To go along with that, we have Commando, one of the sagas. If you guys don't know what this does, I'll go over it real quick. It's 1 mana for an enchantment saga. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each planeswalker and opponent. And also deal on chapter 2, whenever you cast your next creature spell this turn, the creature enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it, and then for 3 on 3 you exile it and return it to the battlefield, and it becomes a 2/2 with haste, and whenever a creature dealt damage this turn by a source you control would die, exile it instead. This is a great little card. It's super underappreciated, I think. It's probably one of the best 1-drops in the deck by far. And then of course we're playing Monastery Swiftspear, haste, prowess, 1/2 for 1. I don't need to explain why this is good. We are also playing Monstrous Rage. Or where's I got Monstrous Rage. Gives your creature +2/+0 on a turn, and you create a monster roll attached to it. It gives it additional +1/+1 and trample with that. And we're also playing 1 Wild Slash and 4 Play with Fire as kind of our removal spell / additional damage to deal. And then kind of the big thing with this deck is we're playing 4 Burning Tree Emissary, and that is to go along with the Aloe Alchemist. Excuse me there. The big thing with this one is it has plot from 1 and a green, which we can do off of the Burning Tree Emissary, and then when this creature becomes plotted, target creature gets +3/+2 and gains trample to end a turn. That's a huge, boost and swing. So we have a Swiftspear on turn 1, Burning Tree on turn 2, along with the Alchemist. We can then also, pump our Swiftspear to give it +3/+2 and trample. We're bashing in for a good amount of damage. Plus, we're going to be able to cast the Alchemist next turn, which can go along with, our Bushwhacker, because we plotted it, so we get to cast it for free. We can play the Surge cost on Reckless Bushwhacker, give all our creatures +1 and haste. Huge kind of deal. We also have the Cunning Coyote, which is another good one. So when it enters the battlefield, target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains haste until end of turn. So even if we go, Swiftspear on turn 1, they kill it. We go Burning Tree Emissary on 2. We cast Cunning Coyote. We can now give our Burning Tree +1/+1 in haste. So now we're attacking for 5 on turn 2 still keeping that ball rolling, still keeping that damage coming through. That's all this deck is caring about, is making sure we're pushing damage every single turn. Trying to close out the game before our opponent can set up anything or do anything that will really, stop our tracks. We are trying to put them on the back foot as early as turn 1 and keep them on the back foot until they are dead. And then we're also playing, a Target's Command. Great little card, red and green. Opponents can't gain life this turn. Deals 3 damage to each opponent. You can put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. You're almost never using that mode. And then creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain reach until end of turn. So again, just a nice little, another 2-drop here to go along with our Burning Tree Emissary. The deck is very good, very low to the ground, very much trying to win the game before, turn 4, turn 5. Basically, we were trying to end the game on turn 4, essentially. Going over the lands real quick, nothing too special. We get one Den of the Bugbear, 1 Sokazon, and then 2 Random Up Ruins as kind of like our utility lands, and then of course, 4 Stomping Grounds, 4 Forest, Pollutionary Forest, sorry, and then 4 Copperline Gorge. You know, all the red green dual lands to make sure we have our green mana when we need it. Nothing too crazy there, but we are basically a red deck for the most part. We only need green for the Alchemist and for Artarka's Command, so we're not exactly needing to have green turn 1. Then going over the sideboard real quick, nothing too amazing here, too surprising. We are running 2 Running Volley here, especially for the Spears matchup, which isn't real, and for the Phoenix matchup. We need to kill Ledger Shredder when we see it on board. That card definitely puts a stop to both of these aggro decks. It becoming, you know, a 2/5 relatively easily is super huge. We are running then 2 Red Cat Melee, 2 Scorching Shot, and a Wild Slash here for our additional removal. The Red Cat Melee is definitely here for the other aggro decks that we're going to be facing. Like I said, Black-Red Prowess, Black-Red Aggro, whatever you want to call it, is huge. This card has definitely gained a lot of stock in the meta with it being so big. We have 1 Saper's Sanctuary here against the decks that are trying to remove all our creature spells. You know, being able to buy back value from that is super huge. Then we also have a Cindervine and 3 Magebane Blizzards here for all the spell-based decks. So it helps against like Blue-White Control, helps against Phoenix for sure, things like that, just harder to remove. We have a Grafdigger's Cage here for the Jund Sacrifice deck that is running around, being able to stop them from getting their cat back and having essentially infinite blockers as well as gaining life. Super huge. And then they were running 2 Rampaging Ferocidons in the sideboard. I'm not exactly sure what this is for exactly. Honestly, the card's really good. You can bring it against a lot of different matchups. Pretty much anything that has creatures it's really good against. It's good against the Jund Sacrifice deck as well, being able to, where they can't gain life off their kitty cat, as well as they can't gain life off of any like food they have lying around, as well as also, you know, when you're bringing back cat, you're not dealing 1 damage to them as well as they're doing 1 damage to you essentially, so they're keeping that at parity. They're not going to be able to kill you off of that type of thing. So just a bunch of different reasons to kind of have this card in. It's not a bad card by any stretch of the imagination. Plus, it being a 3/3 with Menace is kind of a challenge for a lot of decks to deal with when you're already putting them on the back foot with all your other aggro spells. This is just one of the decks that has been emerging since the banning of Amalia and Sorin, and we kind of see this as like another aggro deck emerging, trying to maybe usurp or take over the aggro position here that Red-Black has definitely taken control of. As always, guys, this is what I'm doing. If you like what you see, you like what I'm doing, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and let me know what you think is going to be the deck to take down the RC in DC. And I'll catch you guys next time.